your home? Where is your home in
In
Gloucester?
Gloucester.
In Gloucester. Oh, nice. Wow. Yeah. I'm in Beverly.
Ah,
Next door neighbors. You guys don't even have to commute
Right.
if you do
This is
this.
our home territory, right?
That is great. We'll just wait 1 or 2 more minutes because I know there'll be other people who told me they want to be part be in here. So we will just get a few more folks in. And thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate this. It's lovely to see you. Lovely to meet you. Those of you who I don't know. So happy to chat here. So welcome, welcome. Hey, Ann. Hey, Suzanne. Hi. So some of you might know that I've done residencies
Hello.
or weeks long kinds of things like this more than once in the past. And a bunch of years ago, I did. Uh, there were two summers in a row that I did a week long workshop at the Lanesville Community Center, which is why I love it so much. And it's just to me is like one of the best places to go back to. It's one of the best places that I've found to teach art that I've ever been in. Seriously. I mean, aside from like an art school classroom. So anyway, let's see. Maybe shall I just dive in? I'm gonna get started and forgive me if I end up repeating myself here and there. Um, so anyway, yeah, if and feel free to if any questions in the middle of anything, just let me know. Because this is very casual. But so anyway, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. And just going back to having this space at the Lanesville Community Center, which I have some pictures of, and I will show you in a few minutes. Lanesville is on Cape Ann, which is very near Gloucester. And it is the most beautiful place, I think, in Massachusetts. I mean, I love it. I love being there. And so the way this all started was I had a relative who had just recently moved to Gloucester, well, actually to Lanesville, which is a tiny little community just outside of Gloucester and Rocky Neck. Forgive me for those of you who know the area. To me, it just seems like it's just outside. But at any rate, I just fell in love with it. And I asked them, gee, is there any place around here that you could teach a class, an art class? And they said, well, there's the community center up at the top of the hill. And I don't know. So we walked up there and I couldn't believe it. It was just the most wonderful space, for this kind of a thing without being a designated art center of some sort. So that's the sort of backstory. And when I first heard about that, I ended up teaching 2 years in a row a week-long workshop there, and just really loved it. And so I really haven't done that for a while. And coming around, just think I have a group of students that I've been working with who I think are ready, and also I like this idea of opening a residency or a space that is a place where you can continue to do your own work. Like it's not going to be directed by me. I won't be teaching per se. I will be your facilitator. I will be your guide. I will be your mentor and chat with everybody as you're working when things come up, and we will have some group times to respond to each other's work and ask questions. And I'm hoping to develop a kind of community atmosphere that I feel is so supportive of art making without without a class. So this is assuming that people who come have things that they like to work on kind of independently. That's what a residency is in my mind, and that's the difference between a residency and a workshop. So and residencies have become very popular in the last, I'm going to say, 20 years, and there are more and more every year. There are more and more residency uh, places that open up. There's some that are for just one person, some that for a group. there's all sorts of one. And so this is modeled on a residency that would be like a group situation where people work near each other, um, and and have a communal experience, have a camaraderie in between and while working that can really be so generative. I think, that's an ideal situation, I think. So that's what I'm really looking to do for those of you who are interested, to create a space that is meant to go deeper on your own and also go deeper in terms of the discussion with other people. So those of you, Annie, are you asking question? Anna, are you asking a question? No? Okay. If you want to ask a question, just raise your hand and I will get to you. Anybody questions so far, actually, Annie? No? Okay. I'll continue then. So why don't I do this? I'd like to just share my screen and show you some pictures, because I know if you haven't been there, well, what is this? So I'm going to share this PowerPoint with you, and let's get this big. So all right, let's start at the top here. You saw this probably at one point or another. It's either social media or because you were on my mailing list. I just want to do this. Yeah, there we go. So, Lanesville Community Center, Cape Ann, Mass, 1 hour from Boston. And so it is possible, if you live in Boston, to commute. And, depending on everything, I may do some commuting, I may do some staying up there. The hours are approximately 10 to 3, Tuesday through Friday. Bring any non-solvent based is what I meant. Just because we really aren't equipped to use solvent. I mean, I suppose you could bring oil paint if you used it with something like corn oil to clean up with, but no terps and anything like that. 2 or 3D supplies, and I will inspire, support your self-guided art making, community camaraderie, and conversation. So these are the 2 new dates, and we've been back and forth a little bit with the Lanesville folks because they have a lot of things going on in there. And I finally talked to my liaison there, and she said, okay, these are the 2, they're not 5 days because they've got things going on at various times. And so I said 4 days, that really works. It's fine. So that's what we're looking at. And I'm just going to move forward here. So this is the Lanesville Community Center. It's, really on a beautiful sort of grassy area surrounded by trees. Lanesville, really it's just one of the most beautiful places, and it's cool, slightly cooler in the summer because you get the breeze from the ocean, but it's a good sized building. And this is the new, I understand, writers building that was built in honor of Virginia Lee Burton, who, if you don't know Virginia Lee Burton, you should. She is the patron saint of children's illustrators. In my mind, she is such a role model. Does everybody know who she is? Anybody?
Well, now we're too embarrassed to admit it.
Oh, okay, well, don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd recognize her.
She is the
Books.
illustrator, author of Katie and the come on here, help me.
Well, there's the Mike the shovel.
Mike, yes, Mike and the oh my God.
Yeah, and then there's oh yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Oh, there's the little house.
Yeah, the little house.
She's
Yeah,
and the life story. Anyway, Virginia Lee Burton.
If you saw her work,
you would know it. Yeah.
Did you do Mike Mulligan in the steam
Mike Mulligan in the steam
That's
shovel.
it,
Thank
that's
you.
it.
Yes. So if you aren't old enough to remember those, then you need to look her up because she was prolific, and her stories for children and her illustrations are so vibrant and so contemporary. Really,
Yeah.
you can read them to your grandchildren and your kids anytime and not be worried that you could end up with some bad thing to talk about. But anyway, she's great. Anyway, she lived in Lanesville, and not only did she write children's books, she was an artist, and she taught groups of women how to do lino cut, and they produced rolls and rolls of fabric that were sold all across the United States.
Yeah.
Oh,
Famous,
It's such,
famous, they have the collection at the Cape Ann Museum.
yes,
What-
Folly
what's the-
Cove, the
Folly
Folly Cove
Cove
printers.
printers. Yeah,
And oh my God, yeah, it
legendary
just gives me chills to think about
artists
them.
who,
And you know,
yeah.
she was a woman artist who, you know, in the 50s and 60s pulled groups of women together who weren't artists necessarily, trained them to be unbelievable designers, and they did these intricate woodcuts, lino cuts, and printed the fabric. Anyway, so I feel that her spirit is present in Lanesville when I go there. Okay, and what? Just by the way, you should know that. Why isn't this going? Okay, there we go. There's also the Cape Ann Museum, which is nearby in Gloucester, which has a whole collection of her work and Folly Cove designers, a whole little area set aside for her. So this is the inside of the space. So what I'm showing you here is just a corner of it, but you see there are these walls here, and they have a stash of like probably 100 6 foot or 8 foot long tables that can be set up in what I envision is, and so I'm only taking 8 people in a session, that you create your own space in this very big area here. I mean, it's hard to, I don't have a full picture. And the pictures that I took during my times of the workshops were terrible. And I guess I got rid of them a long time ago. Unfortunately, I don't have that. But we do have some mobile walls that we will use and bring in to accommodate wall space. But really, there is wall space. There will be plenty of table space, and it is quite a big space that is really accommodating. What I love about it, it's got track lights throughout the entire space, so it's like right down on your work, like that. You know, most art classrooms don't even have that. So, I was very excited that was there, and these beautiful big open doors and windows that surround, the area. So a possibility of working outside in the grassy area or even in the woods around it is totally possible. And I think, that is something that could really be interesting to do, because you have access to this. We will have access to the building from about 9 to 5. So we have 8 hours. And though I'm planning that, my sort of mentorship will be from around 10 to 3, you are welcome to stay until 5. And then the building will get locked up at each night, but you leave all your work, all your stuff there in place. You can really spread out, get down and dirty on it. I mean, not we won't be spattering, but we will be as down and dirty as you can within reason. Yeah, this is the charm of Lanesville. I mean, Katie and some of you who live up there can probably talk about how wonderful it is, all the different things that are there. But there are quarries, and there are these, of course, the beaches that everybody knows about in the North Shore. And, there's just what I love about it that's so different for me from the Cape is it's just peaceful, and there's more quiet. There's less kind of tourist feeling there. It really has a whole different vibe, which I just love.
Yeah.
Questions? Any additions? Anybody want to jump in? No. Okay. Joe, who am I? Some of you might know me from Instagram, but I'm an artist who's been working in the Boston area for many years. I graduated with a degree in painting from Mass College of Art, and I am now I do painting, I do sculpture, and I do installation. But those who have studied with me know that I'm all about pushing to learn about yourself. Like, we learn who we are as people from our art. And to me, art is much more than just a pretty picture. Like, that isn't even a definition of art to me. It's really about an internal dialogue. And it's about challenging yourself, and it's about learning. And it's really like a science project where you have, sort of like, well, all right, what do I want to find out about? Okay, these are my elements, what I choose from. Let's see, I have color. I have sheets of paper that are all, 18 by 24. And, I have a theme. I want to do trees. And so you do trees, but you are exploring trees in every possible way. Big ones, little ones, ones, that are painted in crazy colors, ones that are somber, ones that are sad, that it's an expressive kind of a venture. I would certainly think if you wanted to work realistically, that's totally fine with me. But the point is that the product is the least of it. The process is the reason that we're doing it. And the conversation around the work, and I found this in the small art groups that I do, the art chats, that, that is almost the most pure way to experience art making, where it's not about purchase, it's not about judgment. It's really about, going into, well, what is really important to you? What do you want to see in the world? What do you want to explore? What do you want to investigate? So this is one of my pieces, pretty recent, just to show you, I'm all about pushing. So this is a piece that's about 50 inches by 40. So it's pretty big on Yupo, and it is spray paint. Even though I've never used spray paint before, acrylic spray paint is now my favorite medium. And this is another one, also the same size, about 50 inches by 40. All of my work is influenced by my interest in the natural world from as long as I can remember, and from realistic drawings of plants and things that grow, trees and leaves and snails and shells and things like that. I've created sort of abstracted symbols or kind of like elements of an alphabet that I use over and over in my work. And so what I do now is I just kind of seem to reuse a lot of the same symbols that in different combinations really seem to really please me. And this is one of the last one. This is one that I just finished, which is 15 feet high by 15 feet wide. And it's going to be in a show in California at the Museum of San Luis Obispo in December. So, and again, I want to model for you, what it can mean to be an artist in the world where, it's all about challenging yourself and seeing what happens if I do this, what happens if I do that. So that's the kind of, instructor, facilitator that I hope to be for anyone who comes, that I will be the person to give you some ideas. Well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? I do know a lot about technique, and I'm certainly there to help with that. But what I want to do is take you where you are. Where are you now in your practice? And how can we move you further along? So that is what I intend to do. I'm going to stop the share now and just see if anybody has questions so far.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Kimberly,
I have a really quick question, going back to Lanesville. But first, thank you for your wonderful explanation and showing us pictures so we can envision the place. And in envisioning it, of course, being the messy person that I am, I was like, is there a sink? Is there a sink? Where will I wash my brushes?
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh. So could you, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I've totally forgot about that. Yes. Yes, so there's actually a beautiful kitchen. The sink will not use for getting rid of paint, but we had a great system when I worked before. We had a system of buckets that basically got flushed down the toilet. So that seemed to work. No, the facilities are really lovely. And I can imagine, having a couple of group meals there because, we can certainly bring things and even use the outside of the area to, have some communal times together. It's spick and span, beautiful bathrooms, I can tell you that, But yeah, we will improvise just because it is a multi-use facility. We, it looks good. What we did last time was we just covered the floor a lot around people's tables. I mean, it worked fine. There were, I don't remember any problems where that goes, So basically what we get is this just big empty space, and we can arrange tables and how many tables you ever want. 5 people have a huge amount of space, and 8 people, which is the maximum, I'm going to say each person probably has, oh gosh, I'm going to say probably 10 feet by 10 feet, in terms of really, really having a lot of space to I had about, I think I had 14 people in there, and but it was a different kind of a class. It was really much more of a workshop.
Hmm.
And so this is going to be way smaller.
Hmm.
Yeah, good question. Thank you.
Is the group work similar to what we do in Art Chat, or is it different? How is it different, and how is it the same of like what we do in Art Chat?
I think so Art Chat, for those of you who don't know, is a bi-week, every other week meeting that lasts about an hour, and there are 5 to 6 people in each one. And through Zoom, we share our work that we've been doing in between meetings with each other and talk about the practice, really. Like, are you interested? Are you engaged in the practice? What is happening for you in the practice? And people may have questions about what they're doing, and they want some feedback from other people, but it's never a judgmental, this is good, this is bad. That's just not the way I teach. It's not what's not what I believe. It's really taking each person where they are and helping them to deepen the practice. So yes, Robin, just exactly that, only longer, more full, we have a kind of a short time in chat to get it all in. So I'm anticipating, a number of those kinds of, breakouts where we really, chat about what each other is doing when it seems like it's a good time to do that. Does that answer the question? So it's similar, very similar.
Yeah. And so how do you envision the format of the day versus, individual work, coming together, individual work?
Excellent question. And I was going to do a little slide, I forgot. But yes, so what I envision is I arrive around 9, unlock, situate everything, clean up, put away, whatever, get ready for the day. And people can come anytime after that, set up, get to work. And what I think is, once everybody's there, we probably just meet. I know you take classes with Tim, Robin, so he has a morning chat. We probably do a sort of a morning 10, 15, 20-minute gathering where we, get in the mood, talk about, how it feels to be there and making the work and questions and, all that stuff at the beginning of the day, and then have people kind of break off, go to their work. Probably have, a lunch. I mean, once people get started working, I think it's hard to sort of say, okay, everybody take off for lunch. I think it's going to be sort of more on a individual basis. When you eat, when you're ready, you can bring things. If you're staying up there, of course, you can, do whatever you'd like, and then probably come together again toward the end of the day, at the end of the session, probably like, 2:30. And then so I'm thinking that I will be leaving the room around 3. You all can stay until 5 and continue to work. So, probably around the end of the day, 3, like 2:30 or so, we would gather together again and chat. Some people may not be ready to chat, do not want to chat. Others are ready and have big questions. I think it's, again, because it will be a small group, we can really improvise. We can really do what feels right to everybody. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah. I was thinking too that, depending on how things go, I would love to do like a group trip to the Cape Ann Museum, for example. It's a fabulous museum. And like I say, the Poly Cove designers, Virginia Burton's group,
Yeah.
the exhibit of that work is so phenomenal.
It's closed, but there's the museum is closed for renovation.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
The
So I don't
summer's
know. I don't think it's going to be open, but there are other things that are going on.
yeah.
They have another campus and there's other things going on. But there really is a lot of there's a lot of stuff to do
There
around.
is, and of course,
We can double
uh,
check.
Rocky Neck
Rocky Neck
and
Art
all the
Center.
galleries that are there, one
Yeah,
after the other in Gloucester. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a really wonderful art area, isn't it? It's really a kind of a magnet for the arts, and in fact, it always has been. The other thing to know about is that the all right, somebody help me here. What is the name of the other residency that's there?
Oh, the manship.
The Manship Residency.
Yeah.
So
Did you do that? Didn't you do
no, I
something?
didn't do that, but
Yeah.
Boston Sculptures Gallery did have
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
an
Right.
exhibition of
Yeah.
sculpture that was to be lit up, and so there were nighttime viewings of
Okay.
these works throughout the campus. It was really beautiful, but that is such a gorgeous place to walk around. And the artist whose property was Manship, it's very famous. I don't think I can remember his name, but he's got work at the MFA. In fact, two of his pieces are right in front on the on the Fenway side of the museum. And I mean that whole area is so full of culture, arts and culture. It's really been a magnet for artists for hundreds of years.
And just the whole area of Cape Ann, Rockport and Lanesville, Annisquam, it's all part of Gloucester, Rockport, Dogtown's right there, and all
Yeah,
of the beautiful it really is. It's worth,
it's really
having
special.
some experience of exploring the beauty of that area is
Yeah.
pretty special. And there will be all kinds of stuff going on in the summertime too. So I have a couple of quick
Yeah.
questions. So in terms of meals, we just kind of bring lunch or something like that.
That's
Or
what I'm
right there.
anticipating. And I would
Okay.
love to, do some group meals. And of course, again, that's sort of like I would love to like everybody go out to the lobster, the
Lobster
place
pounding,
that's there.
whatever it is.
Now, see,
Yeah,
I have my own little memories of like very special, but for example, something like that.
yeah,
And I'll kind
yeah.
of
It's right near there.
experience. Yeah. And we're gonna
Um,
have great weather too, but right?
it will be nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's New England. So yeah, I've, having done, uh an artist residency before and I really did find you know, having to come with a plan of what
Mhm.
I want to work on.
Yeah.
And bring in all whatever the materials are and to be able to, you know, it, that's the thing that I think of is like, what would I would, and I think that's helpful, right? To have a plan of
Very
what my
helpful.
goal is for that,
Yes.
right? And have an idea, um, of
Exactly.
what I want to do. And I know you well enough as a teacher and a mentor that I know how, and I've worked with you before, so I have a pretty good idea of how you would help me or what the possibilities, are there. Um uh so that I got to think about that, like what.
Right. No, what you're bringing up is a very good point. Let me just see if I can talk a little bit more about that, Katie. Thank you. So yes, if you've never experienced just kind of going away for the purpose of doing your own work, there's really nothing like it. If you're somebody who's pretty dedicated, that's you're doing this because you're really drawn to art making. I mean, we're talking about, a desire to spend time away working on, you know, a self-expression with, visual art materials. That's what we're talking about here. And, some people will have a longer time added than others, but it still about boils down to, the same ingredients, which is, you know, exploring, uh, exploring a kind of, and I think this is really important, having a focus for your exploration, and it's kind of trying to stay the course for that period of time if you can. So it can be as simple as I want to do watercolors and I want to just, I want to use my watercolors on, watercolor paper, and I want to see what I can do with watercolors being inspired by the area. That's fine. And, then we're there and we're like, okay, let's, maybe I say to you, okay, so maybe focus on the landscape for the first day. Just go out and capture landscape and see what, how that feels to you. And you come back with 10, 15, 5-minute, drawing paintings that you've done or whatever that is the next day. Okay, what did you find from that time that you were outside? What did you find you were most attracted to? What kind of landscape did you like to look at? Was it the beach? Was it, the trees? Was it something really close by? And you may say, oh yeah, this and this and this. That was really fun. That was really intriguing. Okay, let's focus on that today. Go deeper. Do more of that. So I, as your guide, can help you get the most out of that experience. But you're coming in with a sort of interest, and I find that, a lot of times when I teach workshops, everybody's, kind of doing the same thing with the same materials, and it may or may not jive with what's really intrinsically interesting to you. So it can be a little bit of that was really cool, but I don't know how to use that and what I'm interested in doing with my work. So this is a time to, just say, no, this is where I'm focused on. And I've always meant to do more with watercolor. So this is my week. I'm going to do that. Or it could be somebody, who's, kind of more of an abstract idea of art making, and they're, wanting to maybe do more with nature. Maybe their idea would be to go out into the outskirts of the area there and find branches and leaves and, do some construction where, you're making small shrines. Maybe adding things that you make to that, and so the whole time you're away ends up really being focused on this idea of making shrines from the natural world. And then we have to take a walk with you to go see where the shrines ended up being. So it's a kind of place that can be so flexible and really can accommodate really any kind of way that you want to work. And, my job, as I was saying, is I'm the cheerleader, and I'm the person that says, stop judging yourself. This is not a contest. This is not a should be or wish, or this is not a should. Nothing is should. This is, what is of interest here? This is a different mentality than you might be used to working with. I don't know. It depends on, where you're coming from. But I think it's really a very healthy attitude to art making that can free you. It can really open you up and help make that experience of art making really joyous and not hard. Right?
Mhm.
So that's what I'm aiming for. Anything else? Yeah, Anne.
And me?
Yeah, you. Yes.
So I'm down on the South Shore for the summer. So I'm wondering, is there any, I know this is logistical shit, but is there any like places you would recommend that are like less expensive, close to the center? Because
Yes, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So part of like, being in a residency, I think it's nice to just get away and not have to commute.
It would be lovely. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think that's one thing that I'm like considering, okay, where do I stay? And
Yeah.
also like what are as someone else was saying, what is the day like so that, I want to go to museums, I want to be up there and enjoy the landscape, but I also want to be in a place that's not too far.
Yeah, so Anne came with me to Greece, and so did Diane a
Oh,
couple of
It's
years ago.
Diane.
Diane Jackwith, right up there. You
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
know
It
each
was
other, yeah. So,
so
anyway,
amazing.
so
So
I've done
amazing.
this kind of trip in Greece, although still in all, it wasn't quite like what I'm envisioning for this one. Still that still was more of a teaching kind of thing. But yeah, so you know, Anne, and yes, I have my relative who used to live there just gave me a whole bunch of names of people. She didn't give
Oh,
me a whole
good.
bunch. She gave me some names of people who rent spaces in their homes.
Oh,
And
cool. Okay.
yeah, and maybe, those of you who live in the area might know of places where people can stay, like B&Bs and,
Yeah.
things like that. So I'm sure we can, pool resources and sort of come up with a bunch of different places. But yeah, what I will do is, if you're really interested, I will send you the names of some of these people, of all the people that my friends, yeah.
Yeah, I do have a friend up in Marblehead that I could probably stay with, but I don't know if that's going to work. So, in a way,
that's
I
a
just kind of want to
Too
get
far.
away, you
that's
know?
going to be a long drive. I mean, that it'd probably take me to get to Lanesville. I live in Beverly. It would take me
Oh,
uh probably close to a half an hour maybe
uh,
to
yeah,
get
I
there.
want to be close.
Marblehead, could take you an hour.
Oh, wow.
Marblehead it's a wonderful place to stay. But
Yeah,
I think having, and I think that's part of what the whole residency thing is
I
really
agree.
experiencing it really is such a beautiful area. Um, yeah, that would be a long,
No, it's good to know. I mean, I just think being like close to the campus and being able to just like
yeah,
be able to experience it without other um
yeah,
traffic or distractions is like
yeah.
key.
I think,
Absolutely. No, you're totally right, Ann. And if you can stay up there, absolutely.
Yeah, I think about how far you would want to drive to get to, where the workshop is being held. Because Gloucester is it's kind of it spreads out.
oh yeah,
And
well,
like it
keeping,
takes me, sometimes 20 minutes to get across town. And it takes me 20 minutes to get to Beverly. So,
yeah,
it's not,
depending upon
it's
traffic.
a strange geography.
Yeah,
So think about how
but
far
it
you
is,
want to drive,
yeah.
then map
And
it
I
out
think
maybe.
just having the experience of just being around in that area and feeling a little immersed in it, being
Yeah,
in,
there's nothing like, sitting on the beach watching the sunset. It's really pretty spectacular if you can do that, definitely. Yeah.
I think Lanesville is actually closer to Rockport than Gloucester. And
Mm.
there are lots of
well,
little bed
yeah,
and breakfasts in Rockport.
yeah.
Yeah,
Things
Well,
do
maybe.
fill up.
it
Things do
loops
fill up fast.
around
So
that
you
that
should,
loop where Rockport is on one side and then you come around and actually Lanesville is part of Gloucester, just like Lanesville, Annisquam, and then Gloucester. It's actually all kind of Gloucester that's on like the Annisquam River and it goes down, to
Yeah.
the
So those of you who are in the area, I will definitely, pick your brain and see if you guys can, put together some, possibilities for us and guides to,
yeah.
what to do and where to go for sure.
I think finding a place that would, if there was someone where you could stay at someone's home or something nearby,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
that
idea.
would
That's
that would really
ideal.
be the
That would be
idea.
ideal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time people did find, all kinds of interesting places to stay, and some people ended up, two or three people would stay together, and there were
Oh
people
yeah.
just like
Yeah.
by themselves. So it's all.
There's all kinds of like Airbnb places around there too.
And Duncan, you had your hand up. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, I missed you
Oh,
getting
that's
back.
okay. Can you hear me okay? Okay, good. Yeah. Let's see. Well, basically, I've two questions. Let's see if I can actually remember both of them.
Yeah.
One of them is, um, such a huge fan of yours, Audrey. We've never met
I
before.
know. Thank you so much. Ann is a Instagram new friend. I love
That's
it.
exactly, that's right. And I'm very interested. I'm a painter, but I'm very interested in the sculpture work that you do.
Hmm.
Yeah, have really never done anything like that, but I would love to be able to, try that. But I don't know if this is the right kind of a situation to do that, or if I'm then needing to bring a whole lot of different kinds of materials, and maybe that becomes cumbersome, or I don't know. I'm just wondering what your
Right.
thoughts are.
Um, the way I started was with paper. And
Mm,
it's really not a bad way to start, especially when you're trying to explore, what it is that you want to do. That's how I started.
right.
Paper, you know, uh, with a hole in one point and a hole in the other point and hooked up, yeah. And we'll probably be able to, put something together where you can hang. I think people can hang things from the rafters in there. But yeah, that's really a way to start. Um, though I won't, I'm happy to, mentor you and get you started and all that stuff, but, less on the how to force, like get you started and you probably go and do some and then ask me kind of back and forth, that kind of thing.
Right. Exactly. That sounds great. The other thing, I'll just throw this in here, is I have been for, I mean, years at this point, collecting Nespresso boxes.
Uh-huh.
We have an espresso machine, and I don't know why I'm collecting these, but I seem to have some sort of, I'm hoping that maybe somewhere there's like some kind of divine inspiration there. And ultimately, one time I'll know, and one day I'll wake up and I'll know what I'm doing with all these. I have hundreds of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Kimberly likes it. Okay, yeah. And you're thinking of doing something with those?
Hoarder. I'm not really a hoarder, but
I know, it's great. Artists we all pick up stuff. Sorry. Yeah.
so, I'm thinking maybe I could bring down, one box of Nespresso boxes or something like that and work with some things there. Maybe
I
just
mean, yeah,
playing.
it's for you, right? Exactly. But that's good, like sort of intentional. Okay, what is something that I want to be doing that could really, I think, could engage me for a while. And it's so great to have uninterrupted space and time.
Yeah,
It's just like there's nothing like it. If you haven't done this kind of thing before, you grow so much in your work when you really spend focused time. It's amazing. Like 5 hours to just dedicate to your work in a day,
right.
4 of those right next to each other. They're really great. And, it's also a good practice for if you did want to do like a bigger residency or a residency where you really didn't know, it's more like a kind of like you sign up or you get juried into it. It's a great way to see if you like that kind of thing.
That's true. That
It's
sounds that sounds great. One other question.
yeah.
Is it possible to bring any work in that's basically completed to discuss with you, or is that really antithetical to what this is?
If you thought that, it could be a good sort of jumping off point for new work, yeah, absolutely. Because I think, our older work relates, right?
Okay,
I think it's possible. Yeah, yeah. Anybody
great.
else? Other
So,
questions?
s-
Yeah, Anne,
uh,
yeah,
so you're open to different kinds of mediums.
yeah.
It's not just a paper and a paint
No,
um and you bring whatever tools you need in your space and your materials, and
yeah.
so you're open to all that because yeah, okay,
You're probably not a torch, Pam, but
understood. I understand that.
I mean, yeah, within reason, you guys, of course, we all know, it's not set up to be a real like heavy duty workshop, but within reason, we can certainly make things happen, especially with the outdoor part of it.
So
You
if
know,
we had some
if you need to
sawhorses and hammers,
exactly. that
Mhm.
kind of thing, take it, or take a table outside. And I think that's, that's within reason. But yeah, heavy duty stuff, probably not.
Hmm. Thank you.
Glue
Just
guns, that's fine.
one other question.
Yeah.
Is there any technology in terms of printers or anything like that that is available to use? Or if I wanted to print things out, should I bring my own printer, bring my own
Yes.
supplies for that?
Yes. It's pretty empty space. Yeah. Yeah. If you have to
Okay.
buy your own. Yeah.
Okay. So there's no like, but there's internet.
I imagine so. Harry, you're shaking your head. Yes. Do you know that for sure?
Yeah.
I can find out.
I've been there and used internet. I mean,
Okay.
hopefully it'll be there. Yeah, should be.
Yeah, I mean, I just think sometimes like with my work, I like to
Yeah.
print
It's nice to have.
things. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd like to like, I don't know. Maybe I
Oh,
won't do that.
absolutely. No, absolutely. I think we all would like to have internet. Absolutely. Although, yeah.
That's a really good question. It would
Okay.
be good to know if
Yeah.
there was internet there.
Okay.
'Cause
I will
then we
find that
can
out.
access
So
local
my
stuff.
husband's
I
in
bet
this
there is.
economy club and they use the internet all the time.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, Perry, hey. Okay, this is my friend Perry who lives in Annisquam, so
Oh,
she
nice.
knows that area
Great. I'm so glad that we have people
well.
from the area, because that's real easy for you for sure.
Yeah.
Well, great, everybody. Well, I mean, I'm happy to answer more questions, and I do want to have a kind of deadline. I had said, less expensive if you kind of enroll by April 15th, and I think I do really want, to know if a group is going for sure, which means at least 5 people.
Mhm.
By, oh gosh, probably like, I mean, we all need to know because we really need to book, places to stay and all that stuff. Probably like April, I'm going to say no later than the end of April. But I'm hoping to say, yes, it's a go, as soon as I have 5 people for
Mm.
both of those. So, I'm hoping, and I think we will. But that's what I'm looking at.
So a minimum of
Minimum of 5.
5 and a max of 8.
8, exactly. So it will end up being a really nice small cohort of people that that's not too big to be able to go out to dinner or something like together, and it's not so overwhelming that we really get to know each other and work with each other and talk with each other in meaningful ways.
Yeah. That to me is just one of my experience is just having meals together, uh, learning about different artists and what they do, and that part of that community part of it was just made the experience really quite special for me.
Yeah, it is. It's a very different kind of thing than
Right.
yeah, that
Seeing how other people work and their process and
exactly. You learn from each other. Exactly. And the art chat, while really wonderful, it isn't the process of it at all. We're just looking at the results of the process. And so this is a chance to, learn by really being in the same room, and my chance to, work more one-on-one with everybody. All right.
And there's two sessions. Oops.
Yeah, two sessions. Yeah, one is in June,
Okay.
and one is in August. Let me go back to that first slide again here. There we go. So, yep, June 24th to the 27th, and August 19th to the 22nd, or the 24th to the 27th. Yeah. So yeah,
I
and
think
when
yeah, I'm probably more apt to look at the June one than the August one, but
Mhm.
but So at some point, uh, we'd all just let you know and see which.
Yes, the sooner you can let me know, when you're in, if
Yeah.
you want to do it, the better, because then we can really, go forward and book places and things like that. Yeah. So yeah, so that's the deal, everybody. I'm so appreciative of you showing up and your interest. Teaching is, I love, I love my students, and I love to watch people grow in their work. It really is the best thing. So I'm excited, and yeah, I will. So this is recorded, so I'll put it out there, and if you know people who are interested, pass it on, and just let me know, drop me an email or whatever, and we'll see.
Okay, and we can consult with you about like what we think we might want to work on, and
Absolutely, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Is anybody on this call right now outside of, well, I know Robin is, and she's in Philly. Anybody else outside of the Boston area? Anne, are you in the area? Ann Duncan, do you live, where are you from?
I live in Exeter, New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. I'm not too far. All right.
It's not far.
Yeah, I didn't know if anybody was here from, very far away. Okay, so we'll be in touch, and just send me an email, call me, whatever. I'm happy to chat, and see you.
Thanks so much, Adria.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you,
it's a
guys.
really
you.
exciting possibility here.
Thank you.
I hope
Adria,
it all
great
works
to
out.
see you.
Yeah,
Thank
great to
you,
see
Adria.
everybody.
Nice to meet
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks,
Hey,
everyone.
Carrie, did you have any questions or anything for Adria? No? Okay.
Bye.
Carrie's my friend who I invited to come.
I
Thanks,
know,
Adria.
that's great.